Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. Double dog underscore 88. Hope everybody had a good Sunday. I take it you guys can hear me pretty well, right? Just want to make sure. All right. All right. Norma, good morning, DD and beautiful Chad. Open. Good morning. Carolina Girl, good morning. AJ, good morning. Kathleen, good morning. AJ, good morning. Carol Burton, good morning. All right, all right. So let's get to it. I know it's a little early, but let's go ahead and we'll just fill people in as we go in, as we go on, should I say. Norma, Open Mind says if people do not believe if any of the ransom notes, why would they ask? Didn't the family pay? The FBI put. All right, so let me start off by saying so I went ahead and I know we covered this, but I want to cover this a little bit more because I'm at the point now where I've literally just tried to get a good handle of what's going on, and I have to I just have to go ahead and want to explain what I think now after doing a deep dive and having um listening to other people as well. So in my opinion, and I'm going to read this to you, okay? Let me just read this to you so you guys know where I'm coming from. In the first ransom note that was sent to the two local stations in Tucson, TV stations, and the one sent 12 hours later to TMZ, okay, stated that they had a demand for a multi-million dollar payment. It was for 4 million. And then if they didn't pay it on time, it would go to 6 million. And then after that, if they didn't pay that deadline, by that deadline, she would become deceased. It stated that she was safe but frightened. Okay. It included a deadline, as I covered just a second ago. It contained details that had not been made public, including what Nancy was wearing and what she was not wearing at the time of the abduction, damage to a floodlight at her home, and other scene specific information. Those details led investigators to treat this note as potentially authentic because they suggested firsthand knowledge. TMZ also had reported that the FBI later told them this initial ransom note was considered the the real deal, although authorities have not publicly released that. Okay, they haven't come out and literally said that, like they confirmed that, but you heard what they said, what was in the first note. So while the first wording has never been published in full, the first note is understood to have conveyed in substance Nancy was alive but frightened, millions of dollars in Bitcoin, paid by the deadline, and the sender demonstrated insider knowledge. Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna have a different opinion now after really going through all that. I'm gonna believe that that first note is real. I don't think how else would the individual who is sending this, other than maybe family, how else would they know what she was wearing, what she was not wearing? That could be the idea of where they got that information of she was wearing pajamas, right? Or something like that. Or what she wasn't wearing, her shoes. That could be what they have told Savannah, that she wasn't wearing her shoes because they said we will go ahead and basically tell you what she was and what she wasn't wearing. So that's where that information could have come from. Okay. That's a very good possibility. Before I answer questions, I'm going to go ahead and go over this because I got to get this out first. So I'm not ignoring your all's question. Just give me a second. But the idea that they said exactly what she was wearing and what she was not wearing, that would make sense why Savannah said she was taken out of her bed in her pajamas without her shoes. I mean, I don't know. That's to me, that's clear as day. Okay, that's a very high probability as that's where she got that info. And then the idea that they wanted the 4 million, they wanted the 6 million if the 4 million deadline wasn't due, the 6 million if that deadline wasn't met, then they were going to go ahead and unalive her. Okay, and then they gave other specifics like the floodlight that was damaged. They talked about that. The one I believe was on the roof when they went up to the roof. And even back then, I remember talking about that with my wife, explaining that that was they had to present a detail that would literally correspond with something that they would know factual that only the perp would know. I do remember that. So the more I'm looking at this, that note number one, in my honest opinion, going back and looking at that and trying to regurgitate that information, I'm going to say that first note was real without a doubt because there's too much information that has been laid out there by the sender of what was missing, what was not wearing, what she wasn't wearing, what she wasn't taking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the first note. And that's the one I want to talk about right now. The first note. Tell me what you guys think. That is my newsstand because, rather than just say, oh, all the notes are not real, no, there's some significance to that first note. So let's have that discussion on just the first note for right now. Good morning, DD and Chad. Okay, Carolina girl. Good morning, Norma, DD and beautiful Chad. AJ, DD and Chad. Open minded said, if people do not believe in any of the ransom notes, would they ask why didn't the family pay the FBI, put money, Bitcoin into, et cetera, et cetera? Maybe the people asking the question think they are smarter than the FBI. No, I don't think anybody's smarter. It's just that because there's so much information open, there's so much information out there, man, it can literally flood so much and it could distort a lot of people's mind as to this, that, and the other. It's not a matter of thinking that anybody's smarter than the FBI. It's the idea that there's so much out there that is not being said that brings a lot of confusion to everybody's thought process. And it's easy to get lost in the weeds. As I'm now telling you, it's very easy to get lost in the weeds. But good question. AJ, Diddy, and Chad. Catherine, good morning. AJ, Carolina girl, good morning, everyone. Yes, you are. Yes, you're good. Thank you, AJ. Open. Thank you for being here, everybody. Yesterday afternoon, the FBI and Sheriff Department were searching the area. I suggested on Friday when I spoke with them. Okay. Open Mind says yesterday afternoon, the FBI and Sheriff's Department were searching the area. I suggested on Friday when I spoke with them. Interesting, Open Mind. Thank you. AJ, Carol, my dear, good morning. Carol, AJ, hi, everyone. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Trying to just get down to the questions here. I don't believe she was alive at that time, says Oleg. But let's stick to the first question of the note. Where do you all stand with the note? The very first one. I believe it was real, without a doubt. And the more I look at it, the more there's just too much information there that would say otherwise. What do you all say? Asian Ann is if says hi everyone from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Good to have you, Asian Ann. Hello, DD, everyone here. Bob multitasking says, hell, AJ saying that she had, okay, note one saying that had Nancy alive but scared. Note two, just note one. Let's focus on note one first before we go to note two, okay? But go ahead. Note two, the parish that was allegedly from kidnappers. All of the notes, 12 or so, are from the snitch, the one who's with the video allegedly. That's a good point, AJ. That's a very good point. But as far as the first note, yes, I think it's real. I don't know if that's what you're really saying, AJ, saying that Nancy was scared, but that's where I'm at this point. Open. I have always believed that the first note have believed that the one note that described Nancy's Apple Watch was sitting at the bedroom floor. Only go. Let's talk about the first note, okay? Just the first note. I don't want to talk about anything else because that's what gets everything confused. Even some of these people that are reading the notes that we hear, whether it's TMZ or whether it's others, it's really confusing. So stay with the note one. Let's just talk about note one. KB, good morning, DD and Chad. Asian Ann, I'm curious why the Guthrie family, Nanos, and the FBI are so secretive about it. Additionally, why are they suddenly releasing this information? I think it's a lot of pressure, Agent Ann. I think there's a lot of pressure being put on. And I mean, let's face it, you can only deal with so much pressure before you finally realize it's just much easier to get that information out there, in my opinion. I think it is real, says Oleg. KB, a payment plan. I get it on the payment plan because the first one says 4 million. The second one says 6 million if the deadline is not met. And then you go to she becomes unalive. And then they give you all the things she was wearing and what she wasn't wearing. I mean, you can't think outside that box to know that exactly of what she's wearing and what she wasn't wearing. And it makes sense why Savannah was saying she didn't have her shoes on. It makes sense why she said she was in her pajamas, taken out of her bed. It makes sense. Now, understand that this first note, it's not complete. Everything from that first note has not been released, but now a lot more has been released, which starts to make sense why Savannah was saying how she was taken from her home and how she was dressed and what she didn't have on. So I can't imagine that first note is not real. I mean, in law enforcement, if I had received that and saw that note and I applied it to everything I have found in the house, I would have to determine that that's probably as credible as you're going to get, without a doubt, in my opinion. But I do understand what you're saying as far as, you know, the payment plan. There's just a lot behind that payment plan that could mean a lot more than what we're seeing. But that's a good point. Carolina, I think it's real. Hello, Kay. L. I don't know what to think about the note at this point, to be honest. So I'm glad I'm here and listening to everyone's points of view. You got it, L. Diane, knowing AZ is a due state, do you think snitches laying groundwork to avoid it being voided by apologizing? Well, yeah, I do. They would have to really be thinking out of the box from the get go. So right now, on that first note, that's really what I'm focused on. But I understand where you're coming, Diane. I do, and you're right. It very well could be that has been suggested by several of pundits and other people, streamers and whatnot. Diane, good morning, DP. Right, I get what you're saying. The death penalty. Yeah, I agree. I think it's possible, but yeah, I don't know if they would be thinking that just right now at this moment. You know what I mean? This early in the whole thing, because they really probably didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? First Ransom Notes says L. Nancy Guthrie case is real. There you go. There's one L. And there's been Oleg. Diane, Carol, Diane. Hi, Carol. Carol, Tammy. Open mind. AJ, I believe notes are real, but just to create a narrative and stir law enforcement another way from the real reason and the people responsible. Good point. Good point, AJ. Open. I think the ransom notes are coming from the driver of the vehicle that night of the porch because we have no proof he actually entered the house. Good point, Open. So at this point, the first note, in my opinion, in all honesty, thank you, Celtic Pad. Thank you for that gift. I do believe that that first note is, in my opinion, in my professional opinion, in my training that I've had, I believe that first note is real without a doubt. That's just me. That's my take. Good morning, Buttercups. Driving into work. Good to have you. Okay, so now you guys know where I stand on that first note. Good morning, DD and Devil Pop, says Carolina Girl. Carol, hello, Celtic. L, thank you for supporting the channel, Celtic. Okay, so now let's go to the second note. Now, the second note was only sent to the news stations. According to some, have stated that TMZ never got that second note. That's why they couldn't confirm anything on that second note, because they never received it. Now, this is what the second note is saying. And this is the one that Brianna Whitney, the crime reporter from Tucson, this is the one she was able to read, because the station that she worked at, they're the ones that received this. But this is what it says on the second note. We are now on the second note. According to reporting, second note claimed that Nancy had become unalive and was buried in nature. Now, this information was not released at the very beginning. Okay, this was not released at the very beginning. That just came out recently, but it was of the second note. It did not include a new ransom demand, never asked for a payment. It led investigators to begin treating the case more as a possible homicide investigation rather than solely a kidnapping. As for TMZ, there have been multiple messages sent to the outlet over the course of the investigation. The second message reported by TMZ, stated that the sender claimed to know who had abducted Nancy. The sender said that you got to remember, the second note, this information was not released at the very beginning. The sender said there was a video showing one of the kidnappers and Nancy demanded a Bitcoin in exchange, and also went ahead and alerted the FBI before taking any action, claiming that they could also lead authorities to the phone containing an important evidence of a short video. Now, there has also been a conflicting report about exactly what was sent to TMZ. Some outlets initially reported that a note received by TMZ said Nancy had become alive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that second note is basically talking about literally everything we heard just recently. It just wasn't released. All that information wasn't released at the very beginning like it probably should have been. And that's what's causing a lot of the confusion. You know, they're saying, oh, breaking news, it's new information, no, it's not new. It was actually old. They just never released it. You follow me? Now we are on the second note. For me, when I look at the second note, I think the second note is real, in my opinion. And let me explain why. Because the second note is not asking for any money. The second note is not saying anything other than she is no longer alive. And it is saying that she basically became unalive shortly after the abduction, which would correspond a lot with the timing of all the for a better lack of words, all the um everything shutting down from her pacemaker to disconnections to the internet and all this stuff, the Wi-Fi. It would all make sense of all that massive stuff going on at that same time. So, in my opinion, that second note is going to be legit. And I can see now why Savannah was saying she really believed that the first and second note was real. I'm going to agree with her because I think, in my professional experience and in my training, it would only make sense. They weren't asking for nothing. It was almost like, why would they say she was unalive, knowing that they're probably not going to get anything because you have to show a proof of life, right? Why would they think you're not going to get anything if they say that? They're obviously just telling you from get go, this is what happened. They're probably were just like everybody else, shocked. So tell me what you think on that second note. I think the Ransom Notes are coming from the driver. Santa Fe Santa Flow State for 200 joules. Thank you, Celtic Pad. Buttercrops, good morning, all driving. Thank you for supporting the channel, Celtic. Buttercup, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Please remember to hit the like, everybody. Click that like. Click that like and support the channel. Become a member. And if you can't become a member, become a subscriber. Carol, just posted that information if you want to support the channel. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. All right, Kiki Khan, I feel that the kidnapping was an afterthought. Otherwise, they would have left it at the house with their demands right away. The delay shows they did research after the fact. Good point, Kiki Khan. Good point. Chris McLaughlin, hello all. Good to have you, Chris. L, topic now. Thank you, Celtipeg. Sending another gift. Thank you so much. Second ransom note, Nancy Guthrie's case. Is it real? That's what we're on the second note. We already established the first note. You guys already know why I feel that the first note was real. Now we're on the second note. Carol says, hello, Kiki. Chris, hello. AJ, good morning, Chris. L, I think the second note is not a ransom note and more or less corresponds. However, I feel it is real. Without a doubt, in my opinion, L. Good point. Celtics send up finger heart for 350 joules. I believe that the first and second note are real, especially because on the second note, they're not asking for anything. They don't have to even say anything, right? In a normal situation, you probably wouldn't get any information on that second note. In a real educated kidnap for ransom for money, the suspects would not give any more information that needed. This has all been, in my opinion, a very strange demands because of the fact that it's not your typical ransom, which maybe has something to play with why it had to deal with somebody who knew the family very well. It's just my opinion. Just my opinion. So that's why I'm thinking the second note is definitely real because it's not like they're asking for anything. They're not asking for nothing. They're just telling you she's not alive. She is deceased. Oh, they are just communicating what has happened, in my opinion, but it is unusual for that to happen, which is also why I think the note came from family. That's a very good point, Al. And that's where I'm kind of leaning, in my opinion. That's where I'm kind of leaning. But I just say that's where I'm leaning. Why write the second note if there is no money? And that's the thing. Maybe it's a sense of guilt. Maybe it's someone who knew the family very well. Could be Gronsky that they thought outside the box and said, "Man, oh my God, we better go ahead and say that that she's unalive because, oh, like everything went haywire. Everybody went, or whoever was involved went sideways, if you will, for a better lack of words. Kiki Khan, I think it was a robbery gone wrong, and they had the wrong house and were looking for the big safe with the gems, and they were like, oh, well, she is worth something. Let's get paid either way. Very good point, Kiki Khan. No doubt. That's a very good point. And given how it was written and comparing to Carol to card left outside, the way some family members write, it just really feels like the family to me for the reason as well. Good point, L. Good point. Well said. So the second one doesn't ask for a demand, is stating that she is unalive. They know very damn well that they're not going to get anything because they have to show a proof of life. They probably figure that out once she became unalive, like, oh God, we're not going to be able to show a proof of life, without realizing until Savannah and her family had made the statement and stated that we will pay. Just let us have her back, either to celebrate a life well lived or whatnot. And the idea that maybe, just maybe, a high probability that Savannah had told them, we will pay. Just give us our mom back. I'm thinking it's very possible that that opened the door, because now where they lost control of the narrative because they literally came out and said she's unalive, they lost that narrative. They have no control. They don't get to make any demands now, because that's not how a ransom works for a kidnapping. However, because Savannah had said specifically to go ahead and we just want her to have a resting place so that we can visit and whatnot, and I'm paraphrasing here some of this stuff, it's no doubt that that second note is real, and I can see why Savannah thought it was real. You guys understand what I'm saying? AJ, second note could be so if they get caught, they could show remorse in a trial. Also, that note established she died. Maybe fam can use that for death certificate. Very well said, AJ, and that is true. You can use it for both ends. One, to get a certificate. Two, they could, if they get caught. But once again, that also goes back to what a lot of people have thought and people have stated, and even myself, to think maybe it is someone close in the family. That's a very plausible, and that's a good one. Good point, AJ. Kiki Khan, that would explain the 40 minutes in the house looking for that hidden safe that was seen on the social media. On social media, they were trying to rob the gem guy. That's very possible. That's very possible. That's a good point. Carol, I agree, AJ. KB, devious forward thinking, since they can show this note to a judge to prove death for the certificate. Very good point, KB. Very good point. L, I think they knew exactly where they were going and what their plan was personally, and it was targeted. And the notes are intentional and being written for a reason, in my opinion. Very good point, L. Very good point. Kiki Khan, why would they admit that she died? Why not drag it out and try to get paid something? They could have sent her remains and not buried her. Very good point, Kiki Khan. L, AJ, NKB, 100% agreed. AJ, agree, thumbs up. So I have to believe, click that like, everybody. Click that like, send the hearts, send your emojis. Let's get that algorithm going, share the stream. That is a very good point. And all these points are really good. But I can see why Savannah is saying this is real to her. And you know what? I gotta agree with her. I think it is real. I think it is very real. These two notes, the problem is that on that second note, we didn't get a lot of information from the get go, right? We didn't get a lot of information that just came released here in the last few days. I think it was Friday when they released it, or somewhere in there. It was the last few days that we got that information. That tells me literally they had this all along. That could have been why Savannah was stating, when we were thinking she was crazy, how would she know that her mom was in pajamas? How would we know that she didn't have her shoes, right? How would she know that? Well, probably because the FBI and or the investigators told the family, yes, this letter states all that information, that detailed information. Makes sense to me, everybody. And if I'm a betting man, I'll go on a limb to say those two notes are by far as real as you're going to get, in my opinion. You know, the theory behind why they sent the second note, just claiming that she was unalive, that's a good question, because normally that doesn't happen. But normally in a ransom, this whole scenario doesn't happen this way. You know what I mean? It doesn't take place, which would make me believe that these people were not really uh, that knowledgeable to how a ransom really works, in my opinion, for a better lack of words. Or the cameras that could be shown to family. KB, why release it now? What's the purpose of what has changed? Well, the change part is because there's a lot of pressure. The other change part could be it was going to get leaked sooner or later. We know trying to keep anything a secret in today's world is not very easy to do. And we do know that Brianna Whitney did see that second note. So she read it. So she could have said something anytime she wanted to. Okay. She read the note according to Ashley Banfield, that said she spoke to her and she said, I read the note, and she stated what was in the note. But that was because CBS said that they were going to release everything on the note. And once again, I don't buy that the second note they're done with the second. I think there's more information there as well. They just haven't released it. You know what I mean? Criminals don't have a moral conscience all of a sudden. That does not make sense. SG basically sent her back. We will pay. The the insulted They insulted them by only putting less than $200 in the Bitcoin amount. That is true. That is true. I think they put like 150 or 140 some dollars in there. Yeah, you're right. That is a good point. L, intelligent carrying out a plan. Carol, I meant the camera in the house. Right, there was cameras in the house. Melissa Curry, ransom note sent to throw off investigation. It's possible. That's a very possibility. But the one and two, look, they're the beginnings of this whole thing. One and two ransom notes, right? They're the beginning. In other words, they are the grounds for what they are going to be requesting. I can't imagine that those one and two was sent to throw off an investigation, because that was the beginning of the investigation, right? But I get your point. Later on, all the other ones was possibly to throw off the investigation, in my opinion. Good point. As Asian Ann, I believe the sheriff and FBI should have taken the situation seriously. Their mishap resulted in Nancy's death. That's a very good possibility, Asian Ann. It's a good point. Oleg, does the note lead you to believe these are experienced criminals? No, they don't. They don't lead me to believe, because of that second note and what it stated. I don't think these people were experienced, for a better lack of words, kidnappers. I just don't believe that. It didn't seem like that to me with the porch guy, and it sure as hell didn't seem with that to me in that second note, what they wrote, because they didn't have to write that second note. That was almost like a sense of guilt, literally. Like, damn, we screwed up big time here. AJ, to me, the whole case is abnormally, nothing makes sense. That's why I feel like it is an elimination, making it look like, and that's a possibility, AJ. That's a good point. That's a very good possibility. KB, I guess we'll never know, but has anyone in the immediate circle been treated for schizophrenia. Yeah, that's a good point, right, KB? No, I think we'll find out eventually when this person is caught, when this person is charged, and at some point, someone's going to leak something just like they leaked that second note, right? They leaked all this information that was actually said. I think someone's going to leak something and they're going to get caught. And when they do, I believe we're going to know exactly who, what, when, where, why. We're going to know exactly how it unfolded, in my opinion. DD, you missed first part of my message unless it was blocked. Let me check it real quick, L. Let me check it real quick. L, intelligent carrying out a plan. Intelligent L, nothing meaning this to be offensive, but I don't think the people writing the notes are very intelligent. I don't either, L. I agree with you 110%. In my opinion, the reason why they haven't been caught has nothing to do with someone's highly intelligent carrying out. That's, yeah, I get you without a doubt, L. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's probably more in the latter part that the sheriff, the conducted investigation was not done very well. Let's just be honest. It just wasn't done very well. Good point, L. Thank you. Carolina Girl sent a gift. Thank you, Carolina Girl. Appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel, as always. I think this is their first outing, so to speak. I agree with that, Oleg. I don't think they were like well rehearsed and trained and whatnot. I don't buy that at all, to be honest. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Kiki Khan, imagine thinking that your 84-year-old on this earth was only worth less than 200. No, that's an insult in itself, right? And I get what they were probably trying to do is just see if this person would pull out that money so they could follow the trace. I get that, but here's the thing: you really don't know what those people are and who they are. And you're right; they could very well say, "You know what? You want to do that to me? Kapow! There, now we're done." I don't think it happened like that, but it is possible of a scenario to be insulted by that and something go wrong. I gotta agree with that. That's a very good possibility, Khan. Good point. Yeah, yeah. By burning her was an fu to the family. That's a very good point, no doubt. Me too, Oleg. Good morning, DD and beautiful Chad. Norma in the house. Hi, Norma, says Oleg. Sent makeup brush for 6 joules. Thank you, Carolina girl. Norma L. Carol Burton, hello, sweet Norma. Agreed, DD, says L. Oleg, I have new suspect who was close to Annie and who needed money. All right, let's hear it, Oleg. Norma, good morning, Oleg. 1985, Carol, good, sweet friends. Catco, good morning, DD. Catco's in the house, everybody. Good to have you, Catco. Carol, hello, Catco. So, I do believe that first and second note are legit, in my opinion. Just so that we're clear, so you guys know where I stand. That's what I think, and those are the reasons I gave you. Are my reasoning for that belief, not just thinking it out nilly willy, right? It's literally there is substance in there that makes it seem like this is definitely the first and second note are definitely most likely real, in my opinion. Carol Devil Dog, good morning. Hope you are going to cover the court case once solved that this goes to court. Me too, Carol. Me too. It's just how we build this channel. That's going to determine a lot how we build this channel and how strong it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. That has crossed my mind already. Believe you me. Thank you for that, Carol. Appreciate you being here. Norma, good morning. Catco, Carol, hello, hello. Norma, good morning. Kara, Catco, Kara. Norma, good morning, AJ. Good to see you, sweet friend. So you guys can see why I believe the first two notes were real, in my opinion. All right, let's move on. Let's move on because now we're going to touch on the third message email. This one was an email that was sent. Okay. The third email, based on TMZ's reporting and corroborating coverage of the third email sent, TMZ received a mid-February 2026. It differed from the earlier message by claiming the sender was not directly involved in the kidnapping, but knew who was responsible and could help authorities. Now that's interesting because almost like, hey, I'm not involved, but did they know about it? I'm not involved. I just letting you know I'm not involved. Almost like I'm going to throw these people under the bus because I'm not going down with the ship. Very possible. According to TMZ, the third email said in substance the sender knew who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. Authorities should be prepared to go international if they wanted to find the kidnappers. The investigation would extend beyond the U.S. The sender again demanded one Bitcoin, roughly five, still that one Bitcoin. In exchange for information, the sender claimed to have evidence and information that could identify the kidnappers, but wanted payment before revealing it. Immediately forwarded the email to the FBI rather than negotiating independently. A later email reported this weekend something confused with a third message contained additional claims, including that the sender had a hidden phone containing video, photographs, names, ages, yada, yada, yada. You all get that. So that's basically that. Do I think that third message or third email or that third corresponding email, however you want to look at it, was legit? At this point, I'm going to say probably, but I'm not sure. I think it probably could be because of the fact that it was almost like they were trying to take the blame off of themselves and say, hey, I had nothing to do with this. Just letting you guys know I had nothing to do with this, but I can tell you who did, right? I can tell you who did do it, but I had nothing to do with it. Very interesting. Carol, hello. Norma, good morning, Kara. Catco, Kara. Yes, did he strongly agree on the first two notes, says Norma. Catco, I'm looking forward to Thursday when DC changes his plea and he says anything. That is correct, Catco. Oleg, look into Splinter Collective, Annie's landlord. Her business survive on donations. I have heard since TIR went down there that her SC place she has put up on notice to say it's closing. I have no proof yet. Thank you, Oleg. Appreciate that information. Kara Burton, L85, and Norma. Good to see everyone. Kiki Khan, they should release the notes from TMZ to see pattern and language to see if anyone recognizes the writing style, why they are being elusive, like they want to exclusive TMZ. Norma, yes, Kiki, and a good morning. That's a good point, Kiki. So here's the thing. Yeah, the idea that there's still more information. There's a lot of information that we don't have. And at first, it could have been very well that they were trying to go ahead and control the narrative, even the FBI and or the investigation. They were trying to control the narrative, only releasing what they wanted to release, which caused a lot of speculation and a lot of maybe misinterpretation until they released that information. Then everything started making sense. Now I don't hear anybody saying, well, how did Savannah know what she was wearing? How did Savannah know that she didn't have her shoes? Something's fishy here. You're not hearing that no more because it makes sense now. Now it makes perfectly sense. So that's where I'm at. Now, do I think all the notes? Because you got to remember, TMZ did say there was approximately 12 or so notes that they had received and they turned it off to the FBI. I'm going to say no, I don't believe all of them are, because there were some of them that were talking about she's in another part of the country, Mexico. There was another one saying that she's over here. Bottom line is, I think there was a lot of opportunists because there was mass confusion. because not all the information was told to the people, in my opinion. Yes, Kiki, and good point. Kiki, Norma, AJ, Norma. So now let's move on to the next one. The next one is the fourth message. Okay. According to TMZ, the fourth message email came from the same anonymous sender as the previous three messages. It was by the same sender as the previous three messages. And the reason they're saying is because the IP address compares to each of the other messages. That's why they're saying that they are the same individual, because the IP address of where they wanted that money sent all was the same. Okay, so that's why they're saying that. And that means a lot, because if they're using the same IP address, and the wallet, Bitcoin wallet, well, then it might be from the same individual, right? So, as the previous three messages and use the same Bitcoin wallet address, the sender continued to demand 50,000 in Bitcoin in exchange for information about Nancy Guthrie's alleged kidnappers. Once again, TMZ quoted the key portion of that email was, "I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who is, and that was definitely Nancy with them." Now, this person is claiming that it was Nancy with them. Now, once again, this person is saying that 5 days when they sent this, 5 days south of the border, and was told to be quiet by the suspects because, but he knows definitely that was Nancy. TMZ reported several additional details from the message. The sender claimed to have seen Nancy south of the border, which many interpreted as possible reference to Mexico, though this has not been confirmed. Thank you so much, Buttercups, for that $10. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for that super chat. Though this has not been verified, the sender again implied more than one person was involved in the kidnapping, consistent with the third email. So you see what I'm saying? They're actually telling you, and they're, by looking at the finer points of the IP address, by the wallet, by the signature, they're telling you the exact same, not the exact same thing, but they're telling you, and it's coming from the exact person, the same person. And that is amazing information there, everybody. That is amazing information without a doubt. No doubt about it. The sender said they had a 10-year-old burglary conviction and were afraid to go directly to law enforcement because they feared becoming implicated. Now, I don't remember seeing this, so listen to this information. The sender again implied more than one person was involved. We've always thought it was 3 to 4 people. I always thought, and one was a female. The sender said they had a 10-year. Now think about this: a 10-year time for hospital life. Have a great Monday. Thank you so much, Buttercups. Appreciate you, and thank you for being here. God bless you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. The sender said they had a 10-year-old burglary conviction and were afraid to go directly to law enforcement. Now, the sender is saying this, that they had a 10-year-old burglary conviction and were afraid to go directly to law enforcement because the federal becoming implicated. They again insisted on a receiving, and still the same 50,000 in Bitcoin upfront for revealing any information. In response, TMZ Public urged the sender to provide the information without advance payment, stating it would immediately forward any credible evidence to the FBI. TMZ also suggested that if the information led to finding Nancy or identifying the kidnapper, the sender could potentially qualify for the FBI reward, now going as high as 1.2 million. They didn't say that. I threw the 1.2 million in there. Through officials' channels rather than private Bitcoin. It is important to note that law enforcement has not publicly verified the truth of the sender's claims, while the FBI has reportedly treated some of the communications seriously enough to investigate. The contents of the emails themselves remain unconfirmed. So now let's dig into that. This is the fourth. Thank you once again, Buttercup. Appreciate you. All right. So now we're on the fourth one. I'm thinking the ones after the first and second sent coming from the brains of the outfit and maybe not directly involved. Not sure, says L. Good point. Kiki Khan, Harvey is only surmising the contents. He says the writer does not want him to say certain things. Say it all, Harvey. We may know who this person is. Well said, Kiki Khan. L says, why did Harvey stop talking about it all and suddenly start back up? His is my question. Good point. Good point. No doubt. L, thank you for supporting the channel, Buttercup. I hope everything goes well today. Have a great day. See you back at 5. Thank you, Buttercup. You are well appreciated and good morning. Paige, Buttercup, thank you so much and enjoy the hospital. Chris says, Didi, we can do our 10 o'clock a.m. panel tomorrow. I have to change the Boston tour. We was in a heat wave and will be raining. Sounds good. Sounds good, Chris. I will be there 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. Everybody, tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m. Uh we will be doing it live with Chris and Shibby and prop maybe Ted and whoever else. Chris, so let's have a great show. You got it, Chris. Norma, good morning. Great show. Great, good morning, great Paige. Good to see you. Good morning, Chris. Oleg, thank you so much, says Paige. Good to see you, Paige. Oleg, I saw 4. I say 4. And yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be 3 to 4, in my opinion, in all honesty. Could be wrong. They're stating 2. I'm saying 3 to 4. Asian Ann, I believe the first ransom note is genuine. It's genuine. Okay, I've created your note. It's called genuine. I also believe that the sheriff and the FBI are aware of who abducted Nancy. I think they are simply waiting for the DNA result. That could be a very good point, Asian Ann. That's a very good point. Oh, darn it, Chris. But good idea for panel tomorrow, says Carol. Norma, good morning, Asian. Kiki Khan. Hit the like button, everyone. Click that like. Send it to your followers. Send it to your share the stream. Hit the hearts, hit the emojis. That's going to help the algorithms. Thank you so much, everybody. So now we have the fourth one, and we just talked about the fourth one, right? We just covered the fourth one. It's very interesting. Now let's go to the fifth. Let's go to the fifth email. Because if you can't see right now, everything seems to be falling in line with the first 2 emails so far, in my opinion. Looking forward to the panel, says Al. TMZ has described a fifth communication from some anonymous sender. Okay, this is the fifth communication as a new demand, letting email received the late June 2026, according to TMZ. They authenticated it as coming from the same person based on the sender's alias and references to early Bitcoin wallet information. The email reportedly made several new claims. The sender said they had a phone stashed in a secure location, that whole thing. A short video alleged that the main guy with Nancy has their address, has their names, has everything. The sender insisted there were 2 kidnappers, repeated a claim made in earlier emails. They denied being the person who had recently called in a tip containing Nancy was buried in Mexico. I am not that idiot who recently called in a tip about her burial site in Mexico. The sender demanded 1 Bitcoin in exchange for the password that would unlock the phone and supplied a new Bitcoin address while also referencing a previous address to demonstrate continually with the earlier emails. Now, think about this, everybody. Think about this. TMZ responded publicly by asking the Senate to provide a single screenshots of Nancy as proof that the claimed video actually exists. TMZ also said it immediately forwarded the emails to the FBI. Why TMZ is even asking them to send this or that is beyond me, because that's not their role. Their role should have just been to give that to the FBI. So I didn't like hearing that TMZ asked for a screenshot. I get it. I get it. Everybody, I think they should be able to do that, but the idea that TMZ is acting more like the arbitrator, if you will, I don't care for that. Just saying my opinion. It is important to note that none of the factual claims in this fifth email has been publicly verified by law enforcement. As the latest reporting, the FBI has not confirmed that the alleged phone, video, and identifying information describing by the senders actually exists. So now we have the fifth one, and I don't like that TMZ is acting like the arbitrator, the ones that are saying, well, go ahead and send us this, or go ahead and send a snapshot. That's not their role. Okay. You see how little by little TMZ is kind of embedding themselves in this whole thing. Okay. And that's not a good thing. The good thing is to stay out of it, let the FBI deal with it. That's my opinion. Asian Ann says, I believe the first ransom note is genuine. I believe that the sheriff and FBI are aware of the abducted Nancy. I think they are simply waiting for the DNA results. Very good point. Carol, oh, damn, it's Chris. No, sorry, guys. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. Looking forward to the panel. Kiki Khan, the more than a dozen emails that Harvey said he received would be released as well, in my opinion. RS is in the house. If you're going to try to sell me a bridge, you gotta at least show me a picture first. Well said, RS. Well said, and welcome in. Welcome in, RS. Good to have you. Norma, that's a very good point. Yes, DD, exactly 100%. Kara, that's law enforcement FBI role. Absolutely, Kara, without a doubt. Chris, TMZ would love to break this case. It's all about publicity, in my opinion, for TMZ. I mean, they're going to get all this information. They're going to get all the, for better lack of words, accolades. I don't think that necessarily it's about Nancy. In my opinion, I think it's all about ratings. Just saying, calling it for what I see. But just a good point, Chris. Thank you. And Kara, thank you. Kiki Khan, he said that the senator was getting frustrated that the FBI were not taking him seriously. Well, why not show a proof of life, or a proof of her being unalive? That's the easy way to take care of that, right? You want to fix that noise, sender? Show a proof of life, or show a proof of her being unalive. It's that simple, because that's how it's supposed to be done. Why? Because that's when people are more leaning towards giving you that ransom request, because they see one or the other. Good morning, RS, says Norma. Harvey is not happy the FBI is ignoring him, so he's taking it matters into his own hands. Yeah, he could be a liability if he continues to do that. Well said, Al. Well said. Groundsky, TMZ likes to make lots of money, without a doubt, on everybody else's expense, it seems like. L. Groundsky, yes. Asian Ann, I absolutely love this chat room. I appreciate that you read every single message and that you seem to value everyone's opinion, because I do, Asian Ann. I value everyone's opinion. You know why? Because it helps me, makes me smarter, because sometimes I get things wrong and I'm able to listen and learn from you guys. So thank you guys very much. Norma, good morning, Gronsky. Good to see a friend. R.S. Norma, good morning. Norma, Asian, yes. If you like the live, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. If you want to be a devil pup investigator in the channel, become a member. Become a member. Become a part of this family, because I'm telling you, this channel is growing. Our base is solid, and everyone's opinion matters, because you matter. And that's just the reality of how it works, everybody, for me. Asian in, we are happy you are here with us. Amen, says Al. Groundsky, always a treat to see Norma in the house. Norma, 100% 1985. Norma Groundsky, hugs. So that's what the fifth one has to say. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the last one. All right. Let's go to the last one. Let's see what the last one says. So, based on the reporting available, there does not appear to be a public release 6 email whose full text has been published. TMZ has reported receiving an initial alleged ransom note demanding millions in Bitcoin. Series follow demand emails. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same old playbook. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, if by the sixth email, the sixth message, so the sixth message, it's a message, not an email. Private sequence, its contents have not been released. So there was a sixth message, not a six note ransom letter or anything like that. A message that the public reporting only describes the series generally, and the latest disclosed message says in summary, the sender claims to have a hidden phone. Once again, back to the hidden phone thing. Once again, they won the one Bitcoin. Uh, the if okay, done. It says the evidence is stored, so it can be So that's pretty much it. So in essence, there really isn't any information that has been released. And as far as the seventh, well, they stated they have received at least 12 ransom notes and or emails, but have not made public all of them. So that's the kicker right there. They have not made public to all the things that they have gotten. That's why it's so difficult to make headway here or there. But I'm telling you, in my professional experience and in my training, in my classes that I have taken, okay, I am telling you, I think those first two are legit and they all seem to correspond with the same email address or the same IP address, along with the same wallet, Bitcoin. They all have some commonality. So it looks like they could be affiliated. Now, am I saying that all 12? No, I'm not buying all 12. I'm just not buying it one for one because we can't see what the other ones say, right? We don't know what they say. Okay, so how can we even make a surmise as whether it's legit or not when we don't even know what they say? That's point one. And two, there's always opportunists out there that are going to try to capitalize on other people's demise. Okay, that's why I don't buy all 12. And maybe that's why they're not sharing those other ones because they make no sense. All they do is cause confusion. It's possible the FBI is not releasing those other notes because they're just going to cause confusion. And in their mind, they're probably thinking it has nothing to do with the first or second email that was sent. Therefore, they're not going to give it any type of for a better lack of words, they're not going to traction. They're not going to give it any type of traction. So that's the emails. Groundsky, Kara with the thumbs up and the stars. Carol, AJ, I got your message. Good morning. Asian, Harsh, Norma, good morning. Nina, good to see ya. Carol, Nina, hi, Carol. L, thank you so much, Kara. L, hello, Nina. He only released the ones he wanted to, or are there really 12? That's a good question. No doubt about it, L. Nina, hi, L 1985. Norma, they gotten 12 nodes and haven't responded on any. Is Nancy's life more important than money? Doesn't make no sense. Well said, Norma, 100%. Carol, good question, L. Oops, I forgot it was 8 a.m. Says April. You're okay, April. No worries. No worries. You're here now. Good to see you too. Good to have you, April. So we're discussing the notes, breaking it down. And what I have been telling everybody here, April, is that literally the first and second note, I believe, are legit, are real, based on what they're literally talking about and what they're framing and what they're saying. I honestly believe those first two are real. The messages after that, from the message, the third, the fourth, the fifth, they all correspond because they're saying basically either the IP address is the same, the wallet is the same of the Bitcoin, so they kind of tend to go with each other. I'm agreeing with that. Now, there have said that there's 12. Harvey Levin said there was 12 messages and or emails that were sent, and yes, the fact of the matter is, I don't think they're all are legit, in my opinion. Big reason is we can't see any of the other ones, so it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense that he has 12. And like I said earlier, it could be that the FBI finds no credibility to the other ones because they're different, maybe different IP addresses, maybe different wallets, maybe different things that they're not seeing it credible, and they don't want to confuse any more than people are already confused. So why bring something that that's not in the picture? But the ones they have released, I do believe they released them because they are within the scope. The problem is that we know there's not all the information hasn't been released even on those first one, two, and the messages that were sent after. So that's where I'm at. Oh, he'd get more views releasing each one, so maybe they aren't really 12 or some of them are nonsense. Good point, L. Hard to know, I suppose, in my opinion. L, hello, April. April, thank you, Didi, for updating me. No problem, April. Norma, yes, 1985, agree. TMZ likes the publicity without a doubt. Groundsky, 2 out of the 12 may have been real, and a half of those notes not disclosed. These are bad odds. Yeah, well, for the last one, sure. Well said, Groundsky. Kiki Khan, that Bitcoin address was public knowledge. We saw it on the streamers live showing the address and balance. Very true, Kiki Khan. So, and that's fine that they're public knowledge, but the notes all have that same information, which means it's in their eyes, it's probably coming from the same sender, where they send it from, where they're asking the money to be sent, whether it's a 1 Bitcoin, whether it's half a Bitcoin, whether it's 13, whatever percent, whatever they're asking for. Some of them don't correspond in that way. Some of them don't have that same wallet number, that same that same IP address. So therefore, that's probably why. Asian and the entire case is riddled with corruption, without a doubt. Without a doubt, there's a lot of missing information that makes this very suspect, very suspect, because there's not telling us everything that's going on. They're not telling us everything that is there. And when I say telling us, I'm just saying they're not releasing that information that's going to make the difference, where we're going to be able to at least put things together one way or the other. We're not going to be able to steer that ship because we don't have, the mechanisms to steer it because they're not giving it to us. So we're going wherever the ways are taking us, we're going wherever the ways are taking us. But the one thing that they have given us have been pretty legit, in my opinion. That first and second ring true to that third message, the fourth, and possibly even the fifth. But we also know that for a fact, there's not all 12. Well, I can't say for a fact because we haven't seen it. We also know that the whole 12 messages that Harvey Levin says he has received, messages and or emails, are not been released, have not been released. We know that. So it's kind of hard to make and surmise about all the other ones when we don't even know what the hell they say. This entire case is riddled. It's unlike anything else in any other case ever, in my opinion, says Al, without a doubt. Al, without a doubt. I have never seen anything so combobulated, if you will, and blundered, if you will, than what I've seen in this case, in my opinion. Melissa says, "Good morning, everyone. Welcome in, Melissa. Kiki Khan, Groundsky 725. It's like Harvey is trying to build a rapport with him to lure him in by only reading the ones that he is told to." It's possible, Kiki Khan. That is a very possibility. Or like earlier when 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 TMZ was asking the perp, "Well, take a snapshot of this and take a," that's not his role. His role is give that information to the FBI. Let them, if they want him to do that and say that, well, then they'll say it. But it sounded to me like he was just making, uh, which is not a bad question. It's not a bad suggestion. But then you incorporate yourself, and then that's when things start getting really even messier because it's not conducted fully by, it's basically it's other people putting their hands in the cookie jar. It's causing issues. Kara, I wish they would put out more videos or colored video. The FBI must have better video photos with enhanced picture quality. I agree with that, Kara, 100%. Paige, good morning, Melissa. Good to see you. Robert's in the house. They're upset about the Bill Buckmaster's interview now. Go figure, Robert. Hi, El and Carol. So that's what we're having now. That's what we're seeing is that those notes. And it's important because I know that even myself, I was kind of not like sure which way to lean. And I have even probably mentioned, no, I don't believe in any of the notes. But the truth of it is, one and two are legit. I just got to go with police knowledge, police information, and how I would interpret that. And I would interpret that as in, oh, hell yeah, that's definitely. I mean, how else are you going to get that information? Which would make sense of what Savannah was saying. Mom was snatched out of her bed. She was snatched with her pajamas. She's in her pajamas. She has no shoes. And then you hear the letter saying, we know what she was wearing and what she was not wearing. Ah, well, that's a clue right there. We know that she also knew the demands on the 4 to 6 million, 4 million by the deadline, if not 6 million by the deadline, if not, she becomes unalive. And then they stated she knew about the demands. I mean, that's a lot. Now you say, well, what does that matter? Well, it plays on the mind when you say, well, she knew of the demand, like it plays on the mind of the family because they're going, God, Lee, do we send it? Do we not? Do we do this? Do we not? It's just another way of that guilt trip, if you will, for a better lack of words. But the idea that they all correspond that way makes perfect sense to me, in my opinion, without a doubt. So I do believe that first and second letter and the messages, some of the messages after, very well could be legit. Okay. And I do think they're legit. I just think that you can't come up with information and then about the floodlight being broken at the top of the roof or wherever that floodlight was. I think it was in the top of the roof. And then with the idea of where certain things were at and whatnot, there's just too much information there for it to be not legit, in my opinion. Please hit the like button if you haven't, says L. Good morning, Paige. Melissa, hi. L and Carol. Norma, good morning, Robert. And Melissa, good to see you both. Robert, it was interview with Sheriff Friday. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. And it was kind of, eh, yeah, yeah, it was there. I think the note with the Apple Watch is real. And it's very possible, because a lot of people didn't even talk about the Apple Watch. There was a little bit of people that, I should say a little, there was just a few that mentioned the Apple Watch. It was more the iPhone and different things that were disconnected. The Apple Watch wasn't even really mentioned a whole lot. And now you're hearing the sender say of these notes, messages, or emails, you're hearing the sender say, "Oh, yeah, by the way, I can tell you where that watch was at, blah, 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 blah." I mean, you know what I mean? It does make sense, in my opinion. I think the note with the Apple Watch, Carol Burton, Robert, the interview that No Nads lied about the streamers, Agent Ann, the sheriff, and the FBI could have disclosed the information, keeping it from the public was the wrong decision because, regardless of the circumstances, the suspect would eventually be caught. No doubt, this person is going to get caught. Everybody, he's this person is going to. These people who did this is going to get caught. And the earlier comment that maybe they're trying to show that they didn't mean for her to become unalive, that she became unalive, heart attack or whatever the case may be, or whatever, however it happened. Yeah, they could be trying to ease the blow so there's not going to be repercussion of the death penalty in that state. I'm not sure that that's going to fly, but it is very possible that that's what they were trying to do. Agent N, the sheriff and the FBI would have disclosed the information, keeping it from the public was the wrong decision. Page, if both first and second are real, then all the feminine and poetic language was real, and that's confusing me, dog. Okay, if both first and second are real, then all the feminine and poetic language was real. Well, not necessarily. I mean, the confusion, and that's confusing me, dog. I think I believe the first and the second are real. And as far as the poetic language, well, I see what your point is because then you're saying, well, then if it's poetic and feminine, probably coming from the family, then therefore, why would the family ask, for the ransom? That's a good point. Maybe at this point, I don't, that's a good point, Paige. That's a good point. Maybe at this point, what we're not seeing is there was more than one person. So there was at least two people. So if there is a third person who's conducting the orchestrating this, then these two people are probably saying, we better get paid or we're going to come and we're going to leak this out that who was involved. That's a possibility. And so they want some money so that they can give some money to these two individuals. That's a possibility. You understand what I mean? So you're right that if the first and second message are real and the poetic language was real, then that's confusing because you're saying basically if it's within the family as we suspect, why would they be asking for that? That's a good point. That's a very good point. Celtic Pad, welcome to Devil Pups Investigators. That's a very good point. Without a doubt. That's a very good point. But I would say because this went wrong, they did not get their ransom money. Okay. And you got to remember they wanted that 4 million, then 6 million. So maybe the people who did this were put up to do this, and the actual person who designed everything is sitting in the background. But now he can't give that money to the people who did this whole situation. So he is now saying, hey, and they're telling them, if you don't come up with this money, we are definitely going to leak this out and on basically putting it on you. And that's why it's very possible. I know it sounds confusing, but I hope that makes sense because that's the only way I could see how that fits. They want the money to pay the people who did this. And we always, some people have suggested that they believe that it was put up. Some people were put up to do this, and there was a mastermind, right? But that mastermind doesn't have the money. He barely has the money for his own living expenses. So he doesn't have the money to give those people that did this crime. So now they're saying, well, then we'll go ahead and basically say it was you. We'll send a note saying it was you if you don't come up with this money. So now he needs to come up with this money so they can get paid. That's a possibility. I know it's a lot of gibberish, but that's a very good possibility. Good point. Very good point. Oh, it's strange for them to say they didn't mean for her to be unalived. In my opinion, they're getting scared. Never seen anyone do that either. Pull the crime off, then apologize in a way and feel guilty. Well, yeah, because they're saying that because if they were literally orchestrated to do this whole plan of kidnapping and getting the millions, and then they would get a cut from these millions of the ransom money, and then everything goes south, and now they're apologizing because they're saying, hey, sorry, we didn't mean this to happen. The person who orchestrated this is back over here on this circle over here or over here, right? And so what you have is you have this person saying, I'm going to get you that money for what you did. You got to give me time. I just don't have it right now. And they're saying time is running out for you too, bud. We're gonna throw your name under the bus. And at that point, they have to get money. So now they're working ways to put out these nodes in a way that they can give some information and hopefully get some of this ransom money through so they can take care of the people who actually did the crime. But the mastermind is over here by himself. You know what I'm saying? It's very possible. I could see that being played. That's the only way I could see that being played, in my honest opinion. Kara, in my opinion, they were always going to unalive Nancy. Otherwise, why not look at her and bring her medication? They should have looked after someone for ransom. Well said. Well said. Since both first and second nodes have same IP address and Bitcoin wallet, they are certainly both from the same sender. I believe they are real. That is weird but true in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say in all honesty. Paige, that's a good point. That's what I'm going to say in my honest opinion. That's how I could see that fitting out. The people who did this whole thing were possibly, I'm not saying it happened that way, but they could have possibly been told and orchestrated by a main individual over here. And that individual now has to come up with the money because they did what he asked or what this person asked. The only thing is she became unalive, and that wasn't a part of the equation. So now things got complicated. But now they want their money so they can get out and dodge, and they can't get any money. And yet they're going to be charged with this crime. So now they're saying, you know what? I'll turn your ass in if you don't go ahead and get us our money. And now that's why you have some leakage and hopes of getting some type of money so they can get out and dodge. I think that's a very good plausible scenario, and honestly, and I'm just thinking that off the cuff. Keep information from the public can limit valuable leads and delay progress. Transparency and public cooperation can play a major role in being a suspect to justice. Agent in, keep information from the public can limit valuable leads. AJ, maybe to make it look like kidnapping and till not real reason to eliminate Nancy. It's very possible, AJ. That's a good point. L, they're getting scared, in my opinion. Paige, yes, dog. I'm following you 100%, although it is baffling, in my opinion, but I do understand and agree with you 100%. That's the only thing I can think of, Paige, outside the box without really breaking it down. That's the only thing that comes to my mind at this moment, to be honest. Kara, chef and waiter scenario, absolutely. You have the chef who's telling the waiters what they're gonna do, so the waiters get it done. Then the chef has to pay the waiters, but there's no money. I didn't want to use that analogy because it could confuse people, but then the chef can't pay the waiters, for doing their job. So then the waiter say, well, if you don't pay us, we're going to go ahead and throw you under the bus. You see how everything gets all, gets starts getting really like hot and heated, and that could be exactly what's going on. Chef and waiter scenario. Very good point, Kara. Thank you for bringing that out. Pace, thanks out the pet, and welcome with the Dap Dog. Is she got work? Pace, thanks out the pet, and welcome. King Kong, AJ. Who would have motive, means, and opportunity? That's critical thinking. None of this makes sense. It's very true, Kiki Khan. Celtic Pad, thank you. Paige, Kara, 1997. I love that analogy. Yes. Dogs, Celtic Pad, Kiki Khan, Page, Morning, RS. Walter's gonna call the BBB because Chef not sending out paychecks. Very possible. That's a very possible. I'm telling you, the more I think about it, that could be what's happening. Kiki, so smart. Good morning, Celtic, says Norma. Good morning, Celtic Pad. Paige, I'm following you and understanding dog and pups. Thank you. You very welcome, Paige. That was a good question, though. Very good question. RS, yep. I will be away for a bit, says Celtic Pad. You got it, Celtic Pad. Okay, Celtic Pad, do you think the FBI will continue to ignore Harvey as he says they have been? Well, it depends on which interview you hear, because on one hand, you hear Harvey saying that they're not calling him back, right? Then on the other hand, you hear him saying on a different interview, like the one he did with Smirkanish on CNN, he's saying, yeah, that they told me that this, and this, and this. And then he says, "Oh, this is Harvey Levin saying to Smirkanish, yeah, he told me this, and that." It's like, okay, so either they're telling you or they're not telling you, because on one hand he's saying they're not getting back to him when he wants to pay the money, that if he could be the media arbitrary to pay that money to get that information, and they're telling him to stand down, and then he says, "Well, they said stand down because we're getting close." But then on the other hand, he says they're not telling me anything. You can't have it both ways. But exactly, without a doubt, I don't think the FBI is saying everything. Have a good one, Faith. I don't think the FBI is saying anything that they don't want to say that's not going to compromise the case to Harvey Levin. You know, I mean, it sounds good for him because he's making it seem like he's in the play. But in reality, is he in the play, or does he just want to be in the play? Do you think FBI, Melissa? I think we will not be shocked when the perp is arrested. I believe wholeheartedly within 2 months we will know. That's a very good point. Vanessa Lantress is in the house. Good to have you, Vanessa. Hey, DD and Pups, is it true that the arrests have been made regarding the ransom note? Is it true? Not that I heard of. There's no arrest that's been made yet, Vanessa. To my understanding, there's no arrest unless it just came out just a few minutes ago. Norma, yes, it is. Strongly agree 100%. Al, good morning, Vanessa. Paige, Vanessa, I also saw that, but it must be clickbait and untrue. In my opinion, that would be a breaking news, no doubt about it. Vanessa, good morning now. Yellow hearts and ribbons. Melissa, the FBI never released any information until they are 100% sure they have a case. Norma, good morning, Vanessa. Al, correct, Melissa. Vanessa, I agree, Paige. Bullhorn is reporting that. Carol Palmer's in the house. Good to have you, Carol. Click that like and subscribe. It is free. Or be a member and be a Devil Pup investigator in the house and be a part of this family. If Harvey pays, he pays, says Carol Palmer. Without a doubt. Tennessee girl. Good morning, Tennessee girl. Good to have you. Vanessa, good to see you, Norma. Hope all is well. Carol, my whole chat disappeared, even went out and back in. My whole chat disappeared. Just go out and come back in. Al, Carol, you can't see it at all. Still, Norma, good morning, Tennessee. Good to see ya. L, Tennessee girl in the house. Good to have you, Tennessee girl. Welcome in. AJ, oh no, Carol. Norma, Vanessa, love and hi. Click that likes, everybody. Click that likes. Get that algorithm going. Get that going, everybody. Good to see you, Vanessa. Glad you're here. Carol, L, only from about 6 chats back. Interesting. He gotta love YouTube. That's no doubt about it. Click that like, everybody. Let's get it. Let's send it out. Share this to your other streamers and followers. L, only from about 6 chats. Carol, my chat disappeared as well. Interesting. What the hell's going on here? Because my chat, I see all of you. Wow, that's weird. It's weird, says Carol. Page, hello, magazine. Magazine is in the house. Hello, magazine. April, I couldn't even get on YouTube earlier. Wow. Carol with Kara. Vanessa, thank you, Didi. Good to be here with you. I'm having a late lunch. You got it, Vanessa. Glad you are here. Click that like, everybody. Do me that favor. If you are new, be a member. And if you can't be a member, be a subscriber. This chat and channel is going and it's growing rapidly. And our base is solid. And here, everyone has an opinion, and everybody's opinion matters. Kiki Khan, Harvey did a Two Angry Men podcast. Yes. The ex-cop, Gallegos, said, why don't you have a lawyer? Yes, very good point, Kiki. I saw that. I didn't even get to that. Good point. Harvey did a Two Angry Men podcast. He did it with Greg Gallegos, Gallegos. Used to be an ex-cop, said, why don't you get a lawyer and put the money in a trust? Keep the client anonymous. They will get paid when the phone is confirmed. Yeah, that I remember him saying that, and I always thought, why not get a lawyer, have the lawyer give the information to the FBI? Now think about this. What if this sender got a lawyer, gave the lawyer the information. The lawyer then calls the FBI, says, here's the information. Then they end up catching the suspects. And in turn, the lawyer gets the money because he's the one that gave the evidence. And then most of it will go to the actual sender, and the lawyer will keep X amount of dollars. I'm just saying, I know it sounds confusing, but in other words, there's a third party in the middle. But that's good, Kiki, because I did hear that, exactly what you said. I've heard it. Absolutely. I watched it, absolutely. It was with Gallegos and Harvey Levin. Asian with the hearts, Asian and Vanessa 1425 here in the UK. Good to have you, Vanessa. Thank you for being here. Interesting. I didn't know about that podcast. Yeah, that was on. I want to say I saw that Saturday. I think I saw that Saturday. That on the Two Angry Men podcast. Yes. Interesting. I didn't know about that. I like Harvey's idea. I mean, it's a good idea. I'm not going to say it's not, because it is. But think about it. You get an attorney, have the attorney present that information to the FBI, then go ahead and kick it back when the money's pay for if they catch the suspects with that information, the sender can't get it until everything is done. Once it's done, get that information and get that money. Go ahead and give them his part. You take your, for a better lack of words, finder's fee. Everybody's happy. Well, you know what I mean by everybody's happy. Everybody is getting what they want, and and the FBI is catching the suspects. That's what I mean. Interesting. I didn't know about that. Carol, if you lose service, even if for a minute, the chat will disappear. That is true. If you do, and this happened to me in the past when I was driving around. That's why I don't like driving around no more and doing my chats. But if you lose signal, and it basically like restarts, you're going to lose everything, and you're going to have to restart it up again. April, I can't wait until DC has court. The Bitcoin call made to AT for a deposit is bugging me like crazy. I agree with you, April, 110%. Vanessa Bohern Betty titled to her live breaking new multiple arrests made in the U.S. Nancy Guthrie ransom notes. But who? Yeah, I haven't heard anything, to be honest. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it on and see what they say anything, but I haven't heard anything about that. I really haven't. Kiki Khan, April, yes, going to be very interesting. Going to be very interesting to say the least. I hope that he sings like a canary and the whole story will come out. Well said, Kiki Khan. Melissa, I don't lose service. I didn't lose service. Vanessa, check it out, DD. I'm going to right now. I'm going to see if there's anything breaking news whatsoever. It's on a commercial right now, everybody. So just bear with me. Norma, I agree, Norma, says Vanessa. So it's interesting to see how you can always think outside the box, right? Always think outside the box, and you can think of ways to go around certain. There's always a way. There's always a way. And if the sender is legit, the sender can say, yes, I want to do that. And the hell with the 60,000 Bitcoin, just claim the 1.2 million. Let the attorney give the information. The attorney then, once he gives the information, he gets paid. He then pays you majority of what you guys agree on for him being the mouthpiece, so to speak. The perps are caught. Hey, Chris just said nothing I can find, says Chris. April, yes, Kiki. Norma. Chris, I believe you 100%, and you probably won't. Melissa, Carol, okay, I have bad service at work, and that happens to me when I get in dead zone. Carol says, Carol, we must have both lost service at the same time in New Zealand. Welcome in New Zealand. Good to have you both. I really don't think I lost service. April, please like and subscribe. Become a member. We appreciate you all for being here. Amen. Vanessa, I'm going to look into to see what I can find. I've got it on right now, so it'll come out saying something with breaking news. No doubt about it. Kiki Khan, attorney-client privilege, keeps the client anonymous. Exactly. They do that with the lotto winners to avoid being targeted by extortionists. I mean, that would make sense to me. Now, they didn't say that exactly the way I just put it to you. They didn't say that, but they did say, why not have an attorney go ahead and hold the money? I'm saying, why not just give the attorney the information, sign a contract of some sort, give the attorney the information, have the attorney give the FBI the information. The attorney now has, exactly like you said, Kiki, client um, information, protection of client information. Then all that happens is when he gets paid, they get paid. Win win. Bad guys get caught. That's a very good possibility. Norma, okay, Vanessa, please do. Carol, Kara, Norma, good morning. Carol, sweet friend. I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing. That's thinking outside the box, everybody. And that's what good investigators do is think out of the box. There's always a way. There's always a way. You just gotta think outside the box. L says my chat disappeared too just now. Interesting. Hey guys, I see you all. I say that and then all of a sudden mine will, but I see you all, so I can still see you guys. Norma, Carol, hugs. I wonder if it's getting flooded. Maybe YouTube is having a somebody hacking it or something. Carol, hug. Norma, Carol, Kara. I think if there were breaking news, there would be heaps of streamers and trad news service releasing information all live at once. I agree with you. I'm not seeing anything. Not yet, anyway. L, something is weird. L, Carol, yeah, went completely black screen. Guys, I wonder if we're hitting on something and, YouTube doesn't want us to continue hitting on something. Just saying, just a thought. Carol, yeah, went completely black screen. Norma, yes, Carol, exactly, 100%. L, now it's back though. Carol, interesting. Yeah, I got it on the news right now, everybody, and they're not saying anything about it. So I don't think. I mean, I can't say it's not legit, but I'm not seeing nothing. Click that like, everybody. If you are not a subscriber, be a subscriber, and if you are a subscriber, be a member, be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Did anyone see the note put out by Pima County about media in front of Nancy's? I didn't see the note per se. I heard about it, but I never seen it literally. Norma says there isn't no breaking. If there was, it would be nationwide. Bullhorn, no comment. I agree. No, April, do tell, please. April, yes, it was sent to DGL as well, or someone took pictures, sent it to him. I was not sure, but I saw it in the note. Yeah, I haven't seen it at all, Al, but hey, I take your word for it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Click that like, everybody. Share the stream out. Let's get that algorithm going again. Robert, it was from PIO, Point of Information Officer. Paige, they're talking about putting that note that said basically that the streamers could not be there, out there and whatnot. That's what they're talking about. Is that, remember that note that was put on? I heard about it. I just never seen the actual note that said that streamers were not allowed to be out there. I don't really understand the note. It's like they're trying to protect. Yeah, I don't see that KVOA in that note. It said coverage would be handled on case by case basis. April says they will allow media, but will arrest as each case arises if need be. That's short term. L, only certain people can be out there in other words, is how I read it. Yeah, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly. Yes, L, that's how it looked. Oh, okay. And not another note, but the note from last week. Apparently it's a little different now, Paige, because now there's it's saying everybody. Can somebody elaborate what this note is about, April or L? Can somebody elaborate what the note is about for the viewers who are watching? Because I know Paige has a question as to what is that note about. It's That's how I took it. It's a new note, says Carol. I really think it's to protect KVOA because the guy's court date's coming up. That would make sense. That would make sense. But you can't pick and choose who's allowed to cover something and who's not allowed to cover something, right? Can't pick and choose. I mean, what the hell is that? That's what got him in this trouble is that they allowed all the big national media news to be out there literally in front of Nancy's house. And then when the streamers went out there, they got in trouble. And that's why, Tucson got his case thrown out. You can't just pick and choose who gets to cover and who doesn't. I mean, that's what got them in trouble in the first place. I really think it's to protect KOV, in my opinion. Page, it says media can cover, but arrests will be made if need be. Interesting. I haven't seen that, but you know what? It's probably literally going out just just as a mere warning that if it gets out of hand, they can make arrests. Yeah, good luck on that one because that's going to really be interesting to see how that unfolds. Melissa, is Bullhorn is giving false information unless they are referring Derek Kalela. Norma, yes, 1985, exactly. Strongly agree. Paige, Carol, yesterday you had poor M's back so well. Paige, Bullhorn has a lot of clickbait, in my opinion, for views. L, a bunch of big ass cover ups. I believe all kinds of cover ups happening all the place, over the place. They're now, especially after TIR last night. That was interesting. I did watch that. I was going to cover it, but we'll cover it at 5 o'clock. The conversation with TIR. We will cover that at 5 o'clock because I have that ready to go. Vanessa, that really is misleading of Bullhorn to let her live saying that. She is saying what Nanos has said regarding the previous arrests. I have checked all news outlets and there has not been any arrests. Yeah, I haven't seen any. Melissa, yes, 100%. Okay, thanks, April. April, discrimination against streamers, in my opinion, without a doubt, April, without a doubt. Carol, Paige, I sure did, and all of you as well. Melissa, L, definitely too much cover up. L, yes, April. In reality, I think they just made it look worse than the note. Marianne, I'm here just listening. I am under the weather. And thank you all for having my back yesterday. You got it, Marianne. Paige with the hearts. Norma, yes, Vanessa. That's what I've been trying to say. It is say in a nice way. L, Melissa, awful, in my opinion. April, Marianne, I hope you feel better. Without a doubt, Marianne, feel better. Feel better soon, Marianne, says Carol. L, hope you feel better, Marianne. She is, Melissa, she is lying. I just Googled it. Yeah, maybe someone needs to go back and look at it and make sure that that's what she said. Sometimes, people can word things a little differently. I would go look to see if that's what she said before just to make sure because someone could have read that differently. She may have said there's no arrest. I'm not saying she did or didn't. I'm just saying you might want to just check just to double check to make sure. Melissa, she is lying, and I just Googled it. Kara, Marianne, hope you feel better soon. Vanessa, Norma, much love. Thank you all, Marianne, Norma. Good morning, Marianne. Good to see you. Prayers for you, Marianne, for complete healing. Vanessa, big hugs, Marianne. Norma, you're welcome, Marianne. Robert, it is on that. It is on that Larn page. It is on that. It is on the Larn page. Hmm. Marianne, hugs. Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know if or what or when. I just know that just check it just to be on that safe side. April, Lauren posted it on her Facebook page, the media note. I will send to you, DD. Thank you so much, April. I just want to make sure we double check. I hate to go ahead and say, anything without, you know, double checking. Robert, the lady that took care of Memorial, got you. Okay, I remember. I know who you're talking about now, Robert. Thank you. Lauren from the neighborhood. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, April. Chris, what Betty is talking about is arrests made from FBI in connection with the notes, but not today, and not sure what she is talking about. Looking onto it now, but no arrests for the kidnapping. I was going to say, yeah, because that would have been breaking news everywhere. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Kiki, is that the type note left in large Ziploc bag? I saw that. Paige says no, Kiki. Norma, thank you, Chris, for sharing. Marianne, no, Kiki, it's about media in front of Nancy's house. Asian Ann, Lauren is Nancy's friend, but she doesn't reside in the neighborhood. So that's where everything's at, everybody. I mean, Al says clickbait, in my opinion. Page agree, 1985. April, Lauren wasn't sure it was real, but her comment, they were confirming it. Norma, most definitely 1985 agree. Chris, if I put out an arrest made on my channel, would you run it? Would you run to it? If I put an arrest on my channel, would you run to it? I would have to confirm it without a doubt before I say anything because I really don't know. But yeah, I could see why, some people would think, I mean, it happens all the time where someone thinks something and it's not the way. Sure. Asian Ann, okay, thank you. Vanessa, agree. Elliot, 85. Chris McGoffin, no, says Paige. Marianne, yes, Chris, laughing out loud. L, so frustrating when people do that. Carol, Chris, yes, Chris. Norma, yes. Yeah, I have when something like that big, I would definitely have to look into it, guys. I'm just being honest because once again, the last thing you need is more misinformation than misinformation, I guess is the best way to put it. Chris, I think nothing she says as true, says Chris. Yes, it is Paige. Yeah, I just have to know about it. And like I said, I have the news on right now, and I'm not seeing anything about that. So I highly doubt it's true if that is what she said. Carol Burton, I agree, Chris. Vanessa, agree, Paige. Chris, I agree, Marianne. Chris, you took the words right out of my mouth, says Norma. L, sometimes people forget to change their title on video, though. Sometimes it's an accident, but sometimes it's purposeful to gain views. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Share it to your streamers and your followers. Well said, everybody. Sometimes people forget. That is true. They do. Hey, I do not watch Born Betty because of her clickbait. Norma, agree, 1985. Robert, and Tucson is a motion for charge to be dropped. In on Tucson is a motion for charge to be dropped, but up to the judge, and it still has to, and he still has to appear. Kara, Chris, yes, as long as there is no squealing, laughing out loud. Chris, she does not forget. Trust me. Vanessa, apologies for mentioning it. Didi, no, you're good, Vanessa. You're good. You're fine. No worries. No worries. No worries. No worries. We better stop bashing. No one's bashing. No one's bashing. Bring it back. Paige, Vanessa, Lentrix, no worries. Norma, yes, Paige, exactly. I don't either. Don't care for that for her. Okay, everybody. So basically, let's go back to the notes. And in my opinion, the notes one and two. So you heard it from me, just so you know where I stand. And it's just so that you all know, literally, I think one and two are legit. I think the messages of three and four and five seem to correspond together. And that's going to make sense now. So I think we can all agree that is probably why Savannah said that her mom was taken with no shoes in her pajamas out of her bed. I'm sure that could be exactly the reason why that was stated from her. Not that she was just, how will she know? How will she do? Because I even thought the same thing. How will she know that? But now it makes sense because they didn't give us all the information. You know what I mean? So yeah, that does make a lot of sense to me. Yes, Paige, exactly 100%. There we go, Paige. Vanessa, that is how he find out stuff. You are good, says Chris. Carol, okay, I have to run to the store. I'll be listening though. You got it, Carol. Be safe driving. Okay, Carol. Vanessa, thank you, Chris. Love your channel. Marianne, be safe, Carol. Chris, thank you. L, drive safely, Carol. So that's the whole point of getting back to the ransom notes. Chris says, Carol, give me a steak. Carol, thanks, everyone. You got it. So later today at 5, we're going to talk about what happened on the TIR channel last night, what was stated, and what about the three individuals that seem to be having a lot of say, literally dealing with, you know, the sheriff, what his issues are, and then dealing with the DA on what her issues were, and then covering what Joe Harvey, aka Joe Cameron, his issues and what he's looking. It was a lot of interesting information, and when I heard it, I was like, "Wow! Like seriously, that's who's running the show over there." So it is very interesting, but that's what we'll cover literally at 5 o'clock. We'll cover that. I was gonna try to squeeze it in here, but there's no sense of it because we're at the two hour mark right now. So we'll definitely go ahead and save that for later. Okay, Chris, I'll grill it too, says Carol. Kevin Agger, media, a specialist for Pima County Sheriff's Office, is the one who signed that note. I sent it to you, GD. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate that. Carol, Vanessa, much love to all of you. I've got to get back to work. All right, Vanessa, you take care. Thank you for stopping by. We'll be on at 5. Thank you so much for all you do and all you bring to the table. Al, that was a different note, Kiki. Paige, bye, Vanessa. I gotta head out. Have a great day, everyone. You got it, Melissa. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be back at 5. L, take care, Vanessa and Melissa. Norma, thank you. Vanessa, have a blessed day. Much love back. You got it. Take care, Vanessa. Asian Ann, what prompted the DA to reconsider her stance on the YouTubers? Probably Asian Ann because she knew it was not going to go well. And the last thing you want to do as a DA is have to charge somebody and continue to do something you know is not very well. Carol, grab one, devil dog also. Thank you, Chris. Norma, have a blessed day. Melissa, Kimmy's in the house. Good to have you, Kimmy. Good morning, Didi, and everyone. Good to have you, Kimmy. Paige, Kiki Khan, chat saying a new note showed up pertaining to media on arrest in the future. A new arrest in the future showed it pertaining to media and arrest in the future. L, good morning, Kimmy. Kika Khan, Paige, thank you, Paige. I haven't heard about that new note yet until right now. When did it show up? Asian N with the hearts, Paige with the hearts, Kika Khan. L, Lauren put it on her page 12 hours ago. Kimmy, thank you, Didi. You very welcome, Kimmy. Good to have you. Paige, Asian N is with the heart. Good to have all of you. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. No doubt about it. Way to stay focused. Everyone have a beautiful, blessed day. See you all back at 5. You got it, Norma. You take care. God bless you. And Kimmy, good to see you here. Absolutely, without a doubt, everybody. So that's how we roll on this channel. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody's opinion matters because you all matter, everybody. Literally. Kimmy, good morning, Norma. Lauren is awesome, in my opinion, says Paige. Marianne, back to the Ransom Notes, please. Laughing out loud. No, you guys are good. We were pretty much. I'll just tell you this, guys. The reason I'm not really uh, big on it is on the notes now is because we pretty much covered everything I really wanted to cover. We got to the end of the 7th where there's more information that's out there that has just not been released, and that was the end of that. So, hey, we're all good, everybody. We're all good. We are literally good. Marianne, Robert, they can go to sheriff's department parking lot. They said, yeah, I think Nano's even said in one of his things that he would even bring them water. He would take care of them, being the streamers. Yeah, give them water and then throw them in jail. Okay, Em, thank you. Kimmy, Didi, if you get a chance, lunch Betty channel yesterday morning. Wow, the topic that initially planned to talk about got thrown waist tight. She ended up talking about Savannah and her job. Interesting, Kimmy. I will check that out. Thank you so much. You should. I will watch it, Kimmy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Paige. Kimmy, thanks for that. Kimmy Bullhorn. I will take a look at that. Absolutely. You can get a lot of information, and it's just like I said before, everybody. It's like eating chicken. You eat the chicken and throw out the bones. That's how you do it. What you don't think is legit, you just throw it out, and what you take and retain what you know is legit. L 1985. Okay, I will check it out. The one that I saw said something about trail cams and not leaving anything outside the property, or you will be charged. Jesus. Marianne, okay. So can I ask, did you get any emails laughing out loud from yesterday, Marianne? Emails from yesterday. Let me see. I'm going to say no because I know I already checked it, but I'll just check it one more time. Uh, yeah, I didn't get any emails. Just the one from April right now. Just the one from April. Kimmy, it was crazy. My entire perception changed completely. I can understand that, no doubt about it. Open. Did you see the FBI made a few arrests on the ransom notes sent to TMZ over the weekend? Didn't hear nothing about that. Didn't see anything about that. Open. Nothing at all. 1985. Thanks. I love Lauren. Kiki. Yes, I think that was a previous. Marianne laughing out loud. Marianne, no problem. Page. Hey everyone. I've been here listening, says Granny. Good to have you, Granny. Jackie, listening. Just had been in the chat yet. Still waking up. I'm a teacher at summer break. Got you, Granny. You're good. Sorry, I had to ask. No, you're good, Marianne. Hey, no worries. I was actually waiting to see if something, but yeah, deep down inside, I knew it was just a hoax. Paige, everyone, we had a troll yesterday that lied about sending emails to D. That's what M is referring to. L, good morning, Jackie. Granny Jackie, open. 3 people were arrested, but the FBI is not giving out names yet. I haven't heard of anybody getting arrested for the notes. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen any news anywhere. Hell, I haven't even heard of the FBI getting 3 arrests. So, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Paige, Marianne, L, open. Where did you get this information, please? Paige, Granny Jackie. Paige, Granny Jackie, open. Well, I am glad to be breaking the news to you then. Where did you get the news at so we can go ahead and look it up? Oh, Paige, open minded, has me blocked still. Oh my gosh. Unblock her, open minded. But here's the thing, open mind. Where some people are asking, where did you see this? Where did you get that information? Where is it at? Where can they find it? I'm sure if anyone was arrested, JLR would be all over it. Contrary, Marianne, we would be all over it. But the reality is that I haven't heard anything about it. I will bet someone 10,000. I'm not lying. Open. Just let us know where you heard it. That's what we're asking. Where did you hear it at so that we can look it up? It's not a matter of lying. We just want to know where you heard it at so we can look it up. It shouldn't be that difficult. Oh, okay, but we don't put out info that can't be verified. Exactly, L. Well said. Just let us know where you found it so we can go ahead and look it up. It's that simple, everybody. Still waiting. Open. Still waiting. Where should we go look for that information? If so, maybe DC singing. It's possible. That's a possibility, April. DD and many others would be all over it. Thank you, Marianne. You are 100% spot on. Without a doubt. Paige, April, 5958, 100%. Paige, in my opinion, still waiting open. Where did you see that information? If you don't mind me asking, we would like to know so we can look it up. April, 100%. Page, in my opinion. KB, time for a block party. Sounds good to me, KB. Kara, who is open person? I can't see that person in chat. Open, are you open? Are you still there? Please open the door. Are you still there, open? Kiki SG reported to be taking another break from the show. Yeah, I put it on today this morning, and I specifically wanted to see if she was on, and they had two other people on there, and I was like, okay, well, she's off again. But yeah, I can see she's taking another break from the show, and Hoda is replacing her temporary. Was in the news. Interesting. Thank you, Kiki, because I was wondering what happened. Paige, DC already saying, in my honest opinion, I have experience in being the defendant in felony cases. Leanne, PR. I think Open got it from Bullhorn Betty this morning, but Betty read it on Newsweek, so take it with a grain of salt. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate that. Appreciate that information. And welcome in. April, oh wow, Kiki, L, Kara, you may have blocked. I'm not sure, but they're here. L, D, laughing out loud. Paige, Kiki, Marianne, open if you don't want to tell us, email DD. Open KOV radio 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. Okay. Kimmy, they forced her to take a break. They told her the ratings when she's not there is high, and when she's back, it's low. That's crazy. Thank you, Kimmy, for that info. Open page, Kara, 1971. It's open minded, and he has you blocked to then. There now, I called everyone's bluff. There now, I called it. It's not, we're just asking where you got the information. Open, no one's saying you're lying. We just asking where you got the information so we can look it up. That's all. Page, Kimmy, 5983, Norma, wow, just walked by, seen my phone, looking interesting. Exactly, Leanne, 100%. April, open KVOA radio. Chris, I am putting this in the chat to show all this crap down. This is from Nanos. Please read. Thank you so much, Chris. Kimmy, open minded has me blocked too. Come on, open minded. Why are you blocking everybody? Norma, I can't see open minded. Carol, don't be rude. Jeez. Kara, oh well, never mind. I don't need it then. L, not really open. We just like to be able to verify info. No need to explain anymore, L. I've already said it. I've already told open minded. We just want to know where to we can find it. That's all. I'm not giving any more traction to that anymore. Moving on. Paige, Norma, AJ, he blocked me too. All right, everybody. Let's move on along. April, Open KV Radio. Chris. Sheriff Nano said during an interview Friday on local radio. AJ, hi AJ, Paige, Norma, we are one happy block family. Chris, I can't see it. AJ, Marianne, hi sweetheart, I've been listening and out of chat for most part, says AJ. Oh, Chris, you sent something to DD. Let me see. Let me see here. Hang on a second. I want to see everybody real quick. April, I can't see it. AJ, Marianne, hi, sweetheart. I've been listening and out of the chat for most part. Lap time, everyone. God help us, please. Laughing out. Oh, Norma, Paige. I feel breaking the case coming soon. I agree. Tara Lynn, why do people have to make up stories? I don't get it either, Tara Lynn. No doubt about it. If you are new, please subscribe. Be a devil pup investigator by being a member. Be a part of this family because here everybody has an opinion and everybody matters. Thank you, Tara Lynn. Appreciate you. Norma, Paige, L, me too, April, Norma, yes, April, my thoughts exactly 100%. Paige, Norma, Chris, Didi just sent. Let me see. Let me see here. Yeah, Chris just sent it here, everybody. I'm going to read what Chris just sent, okay? So just try not to send anything just yet. I'm going to read what he said. Chris, Arizona Sheriff tasked with finding Nancy Guthrie has dismissed a new letter sent to TMZ from someone claiming to have a video of a missing 84-year-old admin, fresh criticism of his handling of the case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nettles was asked about. Hang on a second, everybody. Pima County Sheriff was asked about the supposed new ransom note that alleges two people were responsible for Guthrie's kidnapping and that a video on the phone in a secure location main kidnapper. I think the FBI has done a number of arrests for false and fake ransom notes. It's a shame that this happens, but I think we're looking at another one of those today. Sheriff Nano said during an interview Friday on local radio outlet KVOI AM 1030. It's a shame that these types of events occur. People have a great interest. That's good because it helps us, but then it gets really abused, he continued. So that's what the literally information is. That's what it is, everybody. Chris, did he just send it? Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Norma Page, just read it all to you guys. Hope you guys were listening. Cecily, I saw Born Betty's last live was titled Multiple Arrests Were Made. Have you heard anything? We've looked into that, Cecily. We didn't see anything. That doesn't mean it doesn't there. It just means we didn't see it. So we're not commenting on it because we don't see anything there. Cecily Robinson, we debunked it. Page. Cecily, I'm just joining. So I was no, you're good. You're good, Cece. Just want to let you know that yeah, we looked into that and we couldn't find anything, to be honest. Kiki Khan, what are we trying to validate, please? On whether or not this there was some arrests made from these ransom notes of three individuals, according to apparently what people are saying on Bullhorn Betty's channel, but we haven't been able to find anything. The note from the PIO just read it from Kevin Alger to Jacob into jail after she called with him. Chris, that is how she got it, her info. That is how she got her info. Got you, says Chris. Chris said that is how she got her info. April, thank you all for keeping chat respectful. Amen. Well done, everybody. Thank you all for keeping it respectful. Thank you, Chris. Norma, welcome, Cece. Glad to have you here. Marianne, Kiki, we aren't talking about that note, laughing out loud. Norma Sutherland, thank you, Chris. Kiki, the bullhorn clickbait, we debunked already, but that. Norma, thank you, Paige. Kiki Khan, Paige. I only stepped away for a minute, laughing out loud. It don't take long, Kiki Khan. It don't take long. Things go sideways real quick. Mary Kaleo says, hello, devil dog. Hello, Mary. Good to have you. Paige, Kiki laughing out loud. Paige, chat's not playing today, laughing out loud. April, I put media note in my comments to avoid confusion. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate that. So that's where we're at. Damn, pass that out. Click that like, everybody. 47 in the house. Let's click that like. Let's get that algorithm going. 48. Let's get it, everybody. Pass it to your streamers, your friends. Click that little hearts and emojis and whatnot. Let's get that algorithm going. So that's where we're at. We put media note in my comments. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what other people put out there other than if Chris put something out or Shibby or something like that. But I don't know a lot of these other streamers, so I can't really say yay or nay on either which way. April, ransom notes are different. Chris McLaughlin, that is the article she was reading. Just remember, it is what Nano said, so she was not wrong, but we know the truth. Thank you so much, Chris. Well said. Well said. Chris, good job. Way to clarify this whole debacle. Thank you, Chris. Whew, we covered a lot of good information today. Al says, thank you, Chris. Chris, appreciate you clarifying. Says April. Pays Carol Burton 100%. Thanks, Chris, says Carol. Click that like, everybody. If you are here and you are not a member, subscribe to be a member. Be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. You can also subscribe. Thank you, dog and pups. So the notes, I think we've now, I can honestly say we have covered that literally officially, and it is there. Unless there's another note that comes up later, we'll touch on the other notes. But I think as for now, those notes have been literally been covered. So we can move on to something else. Thank you, dog and pups. If you want to help the channel, there's a Venmo. There's an Amazon wish list on things that we need. Uh, don't feel obligated. It's not necessary, but greatly appreciated. Please like and subscribe. It's free. Helps Dee Dee's channel. Helps all of us grow and become more smarter, everybody. That's what it does. It makes all of us more smarter. The more people we have, we can take ideas and suggestions and run with those. Hey, says sign everywhere. Norma, yes, amen. Well said, well said. So don't forget, everybody, tomorrow at 10, we'll be going live with Chris. We'll be going live at 10. And Shibby and anybody else he has on his channel, whether it's Ted or anybody else, we'll be having a conversation. Chris, just send me the topic of what we want to cover so that we know, or that I know at least. And so I can kind of know what we're going to be talking about. But we will be going live tomorrow. Let everybody know, everybody in here, all you Devil Pup investigators and all you Devil Pups, period. let everyone know we'll be going live tomorrow so that we can go ahead and generate more people to come in and help us become more smarter. April, if you guys got any questions, there's the email. Send it to, and Chris, make sure you have this email as well because this is the email that I use for the live streams. Make sure you have that email. Uh, April just posted it right there at the bottom. Page, I haven't joined Chris McLaughlin's show because I'm already booked up to the max. Marianne, oh no, Savannah isn't going to be on the show. Everyone is going to jump to conclusions. Yeah, we just had somebody just mentioned that Savannah is not on the show at this time. She's taking a leave of absence again. Uh, and rightly so. I think she probably needs to take a break and regroup. I have a lot of favorite streamers already too, and yo. But today at 5, we will be going and covering the individuals from Pima County Sheriff's Office and TIR, what they talked about yesterday. If you watch that interview, or not the interview, if you watch that live stream, you will see what they were talking about. So make if you haven't seen it, you need to see it because it's really good. Chris and Karen and Joe and John, and Mercado, they did a great job. And so I would suggest you watching it if you can. If you can't, well, so be it. Al April, he said he has to change it to another day. They're doing panel instead of. Yeah, Al, he said he had to change it so because of the weather, it's going to be really really super hot tomorrow. It's going to be in the high 90s, and with the index, it's going to be way over the 100. So he's scheduled for another day. So we will be going all on the panel. And that's exactly what it was because of the heat. Leanne, I think an arrest will come soon. Let's see what happens with DC this Thursday. Carol, there's a YouTube channel for Chris McLaughlin. Let's talk with Chris is the channel. April, okay, I'll thank you. I didn't know. No problem, April. Marianne, I'm not happy with Boston right now, Chris. Yankees fan. I am a Yankees fan. Yes, I am too a Yankees fan. Chris McLaughlin and rain. Oh God, that even makes it worse because it's going to be sticky and muggy and oh God. I am happy with the panel too. Yeah, I think it just brings a little bit more uh context and more brainstorming, more ideas. And so I really enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. Carol, Paige, we have a lot of fun in Chris's chat also. All right, everybody. I think we've been on long enough. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. So let's go ahead and end this live. Everybody, I'll see you back at 5. Like I said, we will be going tomorrow as well. But right now, we'll be back at 5. We'll be covering what TIR had talked about, the interview room, and just kind of go over some things and kind of give you some perspectives here and there. So with that, everybody, has anybody got anything else they want to let know before we end this live? Have a great day, everyone, says L. If you haven't, please hit the like. Thank you, L. Paige. My red eyes burn every night. Norma, 1985. Have a great day, DD and chat. Marianne, you too. April, Paige, try to join us with Chris if you will love it there. Granny, have a great day, everyone. See you all later, Paige. Bye, everyone. All right, everybody. Chris, yes, I do not see my steak yet. Mary, see you at 5. You got it, Mary. Kellyo, Kiki Khan, thumbs up. Carol, have a great day and blessed day, everyone. Norma, AJ, bye, everyone. Paige, okay, everybody. God bless you all. Remember, we'll figure it out because that's what we do on this channel. You know why? Because it's all common sense. It's all common sense, everybody. Simplify.